everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Sandy. The mission of Coffee with Sandy is truly to give everybody an idea of what pivotal moments mean. Sometimes we go through moments that we aren't really prepared for, and it really is truly a way of moving forward and pushing through some of the stuff that we don't think we're going to get through. And today I have the pleasure of having Anna with me. Anna, if you would be willing to introduce yourself to everybody, that would be great.
Sure, absolutely. My name is Anna Fish. I am a realtor with Liv Sotheby's. I've been in the wonderful world of real estate for about 8 years now. Love what I do, love the change. Every day something's different, and love the people I meet. One of them being Sandy, who I primarily met through the Tri-Lakes Chamber. So it was really exciting to be able to have coffee with you today.
Yes, thank you. So I know we discussed this just shortly, but do you know what you wanted to be when you were little? We won't say second grade, but do you remember the first time that you had a dream of what you wanted to be?
No. Honestly, I don't. I've always loved traveling, and as I got a little older, it was very much counseling, therapy kind of stuff. But as a young child, I don't really remember. Just adventure stuff was probably it.
Did you grow up in Colorado?
Yeah, I was 5 when I came to Colorado. I grew up in Boulder.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah. So I've been here most of my life.
Very cool. Do you have siblings?
I do. I have 2 sisters, but they're a lot older than me. They're 10 and 16 years older than me. Oh. And my parents were actually missionaries in Nigeria. So my sisters grew up going to boarding school. And by the time we came back to the States, they were college age, so I really didn't live with them very much.
So you were with the missionaries then too, or with the missions, or?
Well, I was born in Nigeria, so we were there for a couple years.
Okay.
Then there was a pretty significant civil war, and that's when my parents decided to leave. We went to Sweden, which is where my mom is from, and then we came to Colorado when I was 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you said Boulder.
Boulder.
Did you go to college in Boulder then?
I did not. I wanted to, it's hometown. You want to go somewhere else.
Right.
My oldest sister, who, like I said, I've never lived with, had just had a baby. She lived up close to Greeley. So I ended up going to UNC primarily to be closer to her. Yeah.
Greeley's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Neat little town.
You can get beyond the smell.
Yes, exactly. I used to go up to Loveland. I was in commercial property management for about 10 years. Okay. And the last couple years of that career path that I had, I was going to Loveland once a week, and getting past the different scents. You always knew where you were going to be or how close you were getting to.
When my oldest daughter was little, we went up to Greeley for something. I can't remember what it was. And she's like, "Oh, what's the smell?" And I was like, "Well, that's Greeley." And so for years then, whenever something would smell bad, she'd go, "Oh, it smells like Greeley."
I love it. That's great. Yeah. So what was high school like for you?
I think it was just high school. I mean,
well, what was your kind of favorite memory as you grew up then?
Probably the opportunities that I had for traveling. So my mom is from Sweden. She also was a high school teacher. So in the summer, she would take students to Europe every year. And so we'd spend 2 to 3 weeks traveling with the students, and then we'd spend another 2 to 3 weeks going to Sweden and visiting our relatives.
Oh, boy.
So I love ABBA because they were really big in Sweden when I was a teenager, and I got to go there and hang with my cousins.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. My youngest, Alex, he was able to go to Japan with his class. I'm just assuming that's kind of the arranged trips that your mom would organize, or?
Yeah. In fact, I got to go to Greece last year with Lewis Palmer High School because I'm very good friends with one of the teachers that takes students.
I didn't realize
And so it was a very similar type thing. We had 2 weeks.
I remember that you had gone to Greece, but I didn't know that's why.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So I got to be a chaperon.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah, that's nice to know people. It does make sense, when you know people.
Yeah.
You get to do special things.
Yeah.
So, holidays growing up, did you celebrate different holidays? Or?
I think the biggest thing that we did different, and we don't do it anymore, and I kind of miss it, was I grew up celebrating Christmas on Christmas Eve. And it was the whole traditional Swedish smorgasbord. we would have only candlelight. My mom even put real candles on the trees.
Really?
And you start with your hard breads and your cheeses and your caviars, and loved that. And then we would open our gifts on Christmas Eve after church. So I miss that, but we have, really kind of changed really until we moved to the Springs, when I worked for church and I would do children's Christmas musicals on Christmas Eve. And so we couldn't go to Boulder or to Denver where my mom was. And we sort of started a different tradition down here with my husband's family.
Oh, cool.
So
you are married?
I am.
Yes,
we just celebrated 35 years.
Wow.
I was 9.
Congratulations. Yes. Oh, well,
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
We used to marry really young.
Yeah.
At least now, the kids are, it's I think it's now society is more used to
later.
Yeah, much later.
My daughter's 28 and she's getting married here in a couple months.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
Here in Colorado then?
In Old Colorado City area.
Oh,
so it's very exciting. We're going through the whole pre-wedding stuff.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Now, how many kids do you have?
I have two girls. I have a 32-year-old and then I have a 28-year-old.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize that your oldest was around the same age as my oldest.
Yeah.
Because Zach is 33.
Okay. Yeah,
and
Jesse
Alex,
will be.
of course, is 20. So.
Oh, that's a big difference between years. That's like me and my sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And it is. They were both in town this weekend, spending time with me to celebrate my birthday because Alex is up in Boulder, and so we spent the whole day in Colorado City and Manitou, and
so, I love it down there. It's really
and we ended up going to the Burger Bar.
I haven't been there.
Neither had we, and it was just we sat out on the patio, and it's right by the Penny Arcade.
Okay,
and, it was beautiful weather. It was kind of like the in between stuff. The really nice fall weather that's not too chilly, but it's not god awful hot.
This is my favorite time of year.
Yeah.
It's kind of cold in the morning, kind of cold at night, but then you're out in the day and
and you can
short
enjoy
sleeve shirts.
Yep, and just make sure and even in the summertime when it's the heat of the day, just bring a jacket because you never know if you have to cover up because of the sun.
You're a little bit younger than me, but back in the day we didn't know the word sunscreen, and so I really harp on my kids to take care of their skin. But
so did you do like I did when I was younger? We used to lay out on the deck and put baby oil all over,
and then the reflectors.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yep, had the reflectors.
So what is something then surprising about you?
I'm a little bit of an adrenaline junkie.
Really?
Yep.
Tell me about that.
I love skydiving. I've done bungee jumping several times. I'm actually afraid of heights, so that's what kind of makes it extra special.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When did you discover that you're afraid of heights?
Well, when you are ready to jump. It's the most terrifying thing in the world. But
at least you're attached to something.
Well, I think that's it. So I took a friend of mine's daughter rock climbing recently at one of the rock climbing places. And at the top, it's that same fear of jumping back as you're rappelling down. But then it's the thrill of it. I enjoy that.
Well, and I actually discovered that myself. I come from a family of 8 kids, and I'm the middle girl. So there's 7 girls, 1 boy, right? So I'm the middle girl. And
was the boy the oldest or youngest?
No, the youngest.
Oh, boy.
He learned from all of us. He learned how to be with women, different personalities.
Okay.
But because of, not because, my second oldest sister, Jackie, had never come to visit me in Colorado. And I said, Jackie, if you come out here, I'll do anything you want me to do. Just please just come out just once. And she said, all right. And what did she want to do? Oh, something I swore I'd never do because I babysat my friends' kids because they went white water rafting. And I was like,
oh no, it's wonderful.
Oh gosh. Yeah. And guess what? I did it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I forgot how much I love the adrenaline of these kind of sports.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach, my oldest, I don't know how old he was at the time. 14 maybe. I don't know. I think there was an age limit. I think there still is, or a height limit. And he was next to me, and I think I got more sick, thinking that, oh my God, if he goes over, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
But man, that was fun. And of course, I told my husband at the time, just sign us up for, like the second level. Because, I just was so afraid, right? And we get there and we're signed up for level 4. And I'm like, what? What did you do?
That's funny.
Well, and then the guide had told us that level 4 is the best because you don't get stuck on the rocks, or you don't have the chance of getting stuck on the rocks, that the water was perfect. And it was. Nobody went over, it was just kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's like I did the Manitou zip line. Have you done that one?
Yep.
Oh, I love that one in Manitou.
I did it upside down.
Oh.
And luckily I pulled up just in time because I could have been hurt had I not pulled up.
Really?
Yeah, somebody showed it and I was like, I want to do that. So.
And what, you had to pull up so that you didn't knock your head on the rock before you got there?
Something like that on the platform. Yeah.
You were in the moment.
I was in the moment. That's right. I mean, I love like going fast on a boat, the feeling the wind and I love that too. So I have a beat up old jet ski that I have up at the lake.
Oh, very cool. So do you consider yourself an extrovert or an introvert?
Take a guess.
I don't know. I think that you're a lot like me, where you're okay being out in the open, but
oh no, I'm a wild extrovert.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't like to be alone very much.
Okay.
Or I guess that's not quite true. I do. That's not where I get my energy. If I have more than a couple nights home a week, I start getting antsy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but my husband's an introvert, so it's interesting.
But, and I'm more of an introvert. I don't mind being out, but it's just kind of like when I'm done, I'm done. I'm like, okay, let's just, I need to recharge. I mean, I did that this morning. I had a bunch of things this morning and went and recharged so I could be with you today.
There you go.
So, yeah. So, do you have any role models?
Role models.
Either when you were growing up or even now, for that matter.
Sure. I had an amazing, I know this sounds weird because I don't remember much of my childhood, but I had an amazing 3rd grade teacher. And she was a role model at the time. I have a couple friends now that I would say kind of fit into that. And I think the thing that I love so much, I worked with children for quite a while. And one of these women is a teacher, and she is so good about identifying the positive things in somebody and then really bringing that out and praising them for that she almost never has behavioral issues because she's so about bringing out your best.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think that's the coolest thing.
Yeah. And I think that's, as an adult, that's what I try to do as well.
I think you're actually very good at that.
Oh,
just
thank
so
you.
Know.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Coaching the 5th and 6th grade girl volleyball team for 8 years, that was one of the things that, one of the reasons why I dropped out of it, because that last year I was starting to become one of those that was just kind of like, I couldn't find the positive. And I was like, I do not want any of these girls to walk away from a season of volleyball and go, I'm never playing again. Coach Sandy thinks that I'm horrible. So that's why I dropped out, because I'm like, okay, patient level was up here, now it's like. Yeah. You said you work with kids.
Yeah, well, I did. So I was a children's pastor, children's director for 12 years. And then I kind of went into...
Was that here?
Yeah, at Covenant Presbyterian Church. And then I went into adult ministries, and I did that the last several years, 4 years or so, before I got into real estate. My background is I actually have a master's in counseling. Worked in it for a bit. As I got more healthy, I decided I really wanted to work with more healthy people. And then I started having my own children. And it just kind of, things fell in my lap. And
because of the industry that you're in right now, I mean, you're so good at what you do. And I believe that you really help people understand the whole process.
That truly is my goal, and I think that's why I enjoy what I do. It's also why I get stressed out, because I want it to be as a good experience as possible.
Yeah, but you're in there doing,
Yeah,
painting and
sometimes
doing the woodwork or whatever you need to do to make sure that a property looks
that
the
it
best
looks
that
the
it
best it
can.
can. Yeah,
And I think you really help your clients where
I try to.
it's but it definitely shows
Yeah.
in the success that you've had.
Yeah,
You can't be in this industry for over 8 years and
and still be in it and still like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing about real estate that never changes is that everything changes.
Yes.
And we've had a lot of changes this year.
Yeah.
And for some people, it's been really hard. It hasn't really changed how I do things. And even Colorado, how our laws and stuff here are very different than what they've been in some other states. So we haven't seen as big of a difference as some places have.
Yeah, that's true. So how have you gotten through like the last year with all the changes? Because again, this whole coffee thing is really about the pivotal moments. They may be good pivots, but sometimes, I'm not trying to pull out the bad because I'm always about being positive, but
I work with really amazing people, and that I think is a lot of it. And I try to be true to myself. If you get to a place where a transaction is more important than the people, that's when maybe you shouldn't be in it anymore. So trying to be true to what I believe and to be true to myself and to be true to who I am in the industry and what's important to me in the industry is probably how I've done it.
Yeah.
I actually made a change about 5-6 months ago, real estate companies, and I wasn't unhappy where I had been whatsoever. They were amazing. I was very established there, but I had done a 4-day training, and then Liv Sotheby's here in town runs their office that way. And the whole idea is not pursue, just inundate you with the stuff that you don't want, but how can I attract you and give you things that are actually of worth to you, to come alongside of you, to live the life that you love, and help give you the tools and the information and the energy or whatever it takes to make the right decisions for you, because I can't make the right decisions for you. That's yours. And so again, I think it's keeping the main thing.
Yeah. So what does success mean to you?
Success to me is all about peace, love, being able to live the life that you love. And some days.
Have you ever found a difficulty with that work-life balance because of being in real estate?
Oh yeah, because you get called all the time.
But even before that, in the career that you were in, how do you fix that, or how do you adjust?
That's a challenge for me because I tend to be a little bit of a perfectionist in some things, and so giving myself the time, it can be a challenge. What is very helpful is when you have people that'll cover you so you can actually be gone. And I work with a few people who I feel very confident that they treat people the same way and their goals are the same. Yeah. So I feel comfortable leaving clients in their care. But yeah, sometimes it feels like you're never off in this industry.
Yeah.
And you probably get a little bit of that as well.
Oh yeah.
So
most definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest thing is yesterday with taking the time with my boys. It's like they both now are used to me having my cell phone with me at every given moment. And they know that if I get a phone call,
you may be taking it.
I might be picking it up. It just depends on if it's a personal, I have everybody programmed in my phone. But if it's a number that I don't recognize, they know now that it's a number that I need to pick up. That's one thing about me is that I do respond, and I need to learn how to shut it off a little bit more. But I love meeting with people though too, with the coffees, and Last week I was a little shy on that, and it was on purpose. I did that.
Well, I have never gone to one of those Tri-Lake Chamber breakfasts and had so many people say, I am here this morning because Sandy's speaking. So the relationships that you've established and the love that you have in that community is huge.
Well, and
that was really cool.
You were one of those that showed up too because you saw I was speaking.
Well, yes, so I did. I don't always get up that early on Thursdays.
I know. Well, and it's probably more like me. You get up early, but it's just getting out the door.
Yes.
In time to make it to something by 7:30 a.m.
Yeah. Especially if you're speaking.
Yes. Well, and of course I prepared all the breakfast the night before, and it was an easy one that I could just throw back in the oven and heat up. But thank you very much. I do appreciate that. And I work hard, obviously, to build those relationships, but it is really more about building the relationships so that when somebody asks me, do you know somebody? Mm-hmm. I trust the people that I'm giving them their name and number and can go to that person and say, I just gave out your number. Mm-hmm. And it's more like, you better respond.
And you better treat them the way that I would treat them. I feel the same way. I like to have the relationship so that I know when I refer somebody that they're going to treat them well. And a lot of times with contractors and stuff, I use them first.
Yes.
To kind of see what it's like.
Exactly.
But when I'm working with clients, I do usually give a couple different names for lenders because I always share that this lender's going to get to know all about you. And you need to make sure that you're dealing with somebody that you can communicate with and that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's the same with anything that I know a lot of realtors. I know a lot of insurance brokers or agents, what do they call it? The agents that are with specific firms.
Okay.
But I have to do that, because a lot of these people now are my friends too, so it's hard not to, let me see. But I think that when I first started in the industry, and I don't know if it was the same way for you, it's really about the personalities too. So if you have somebody that, doesn't need the hand holding, there may be different
well, as an example, there are some people that are going to be very transactional and they're buying this house and they don't want a relationship.
Yeah.
And okay, I can be that way, but I might not be the best person for that. I tease my clients that if you work with me, you're stuck with me for life. And so I get to go to weddings and baby showers and clients become friends and sometimes friends become clients. So that's the part that I love about it.
Right. So what 3 words would describe you? If somebody would ask you that, or if you would ask somebody.
Let's think about that. I have a huge heart, so I think caring is one of them. How do you? I can have a big personality at times. I'm not very quiet, so what would be a good word for that? I'm not real quiet. I know. I have a lot of energy. I'm energetic.
Well, I think too that you're really a connector when you're in a group of people and you know that, like if I walk in a room and I don't know anybody, if I see you, I'm not afraid that you're not going to at least introduce me to some people that you might know.
Yeah.
And I think that's really great because you do have the availability or the ability to actually talk to people and be comfortable with.
Honest. That's the other one. Sometimes I get in trouble because I might be too honest, but yeah.
So the filter works for you sometimes and doesn't other times.
It's like process out loud. And then you're like, I shouldn't have just said that. I do that quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Do you get into a funk at all?
Oh yeah.
And if you do, is there a way that you actually get yourself out of that?
Probably getting outside in nature. I try to hike or walk pretty regularly outside. There's actually statistics that say even 3 minutes of listening to bird chirps is good for you.
Bird chirps?
Yeah, listening to birds. I really try to start my morning with affirmations and gratitudes. And that's partly why it's hard for me to get out the door, because sometimes it takes me a while.
Me too.
But not trying, every day to say or to remind myself about the positives, because there's always some kind of positives. And to start my day with that. I also like to go over, who do I want to be? What do I want to give? What do I want to receive? And how do I want to feel? And I ask those questions of myself each day. And what am I going to kind of focus on?
How did you get those questions?
I read it somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can't remember. Yeah. So who do you want to be? How do you want to feel? What do you want to give? And what do you want to receive? And yes, I might forget about it 15 minutes later, but the fact that I do it every morning, at least I'm starting out my day of saying, this is who I want to be. I want to be kind. I want to be generous. I want to be positive. And I don't think I'm a naturally positive person, but I want to be. And there's so much good. And so I have to really focus on the good so that I remember that.
But so you say that you don't think you're a naturally positive person, but how can you be an extrovert and not be? I know.
Well, no, I'm thinking so, okay, this sounds, I think that for many years I planned on the worst, so it couldn't be worse than that. And that's not really the way to think and to live life, because so often what you focus on expands, or self-fulfilling prophecy, or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was probably a defense mechanism for me. And so trying to move beyond that, moving out of the scarcity attitude into more of the abundance of life, that's where my journey is taking me. Maybe it's impulse control that I don't have, because I've always been an extrovert. I don't know. Or there's a part of it is, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And I'll throw it all right out there. And but I love to be around people. I love the craziness of life at times.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I ask, because I think that you are a positive person, especially when I see you out. I mean, I don't get to see you as often as
you used to.
Everybody else gets to see me, but
I'll have to.
I used to.
After the wedding, I'll get back into the Tri-Lakes Chamber stuff a little bit more.
Well, and this too is, we're coming off of the busier season for real estate for you. So I think that's what changes too.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give your younger self, looking now at all that you've been through and all that you know? Just trying to really give that positive push to somebody that might be going through some things right now that they don't know how to actually talk to themselves.
Don't take yourself so seriously. Don't take life so seriously. Everything is figure outable, and live each day to the fullest. It could, you don't know what you have left. Try to find joy every single day. Don't worry about what other people think. I still fight with that one at times.
I know. Me too. I just had that conversation this morning with somebody. I'm like, I don't know, I'm just so insecure.
You shouldn't be. Everybody loves Sandy.
Did you like that look?
Yeah. But do the things that bring you joy. Try to do something every single day that brings you joy. So we have dance class tonight, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So bucket list. I know that you love to travel.
I'm going on a cruise though at the end of December, and we're going out of Fort Lauderdale, and we're going to the Princess Island and to San Juan and St. Thomas.
Oh, is that going to be for New Year's or the whole holiday?
Birthday.
Oh,
it's a big birthday, so I didn't want to be here. Yeah. And I actually get to dive. I think it's either on my birthday or New Year's Day.
That's right. You're a diver.
I just started that recently, but I love it. It's amazing.
See, and that's one thing, just like the white water rafting, diving is not. I still have not tried it. I hear that it's wonderful.
Well, if you can make it through the classes without freaking out, then it's an amazing experience.
I think that's my thing, trying to get through that. I think I'm a little claustrophobic.
which could
you
be.
know?
I sometimes when I'm watching the gauge of how much oxygen I have left, and you're more than 35 feet down because you can't just go straight up.
Mhm.
You have to, and then I'm like, wait, I'm running out of oxygen, and but it's a whole different world underneath.
Mhm.
So that was something that was on my bucket list, and we did. I have not been to New Zealand. And even more so than Australia. That's somewhere I want to go. And I haven't been to Costa Rica. A lot of my bucket list I've been able to do.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. Mostly traveling then.
Yeah, that's a lot of my passion is traveling.
So what haven't you done like work-wise that you would, I mean, it would be like you've made it. do you measure what you do?
No, not really. I mean, I've done a few homes that are over $1 million. I've also done homes that are, 200,000-300,000. One of the things that Liv Sotheby says is that luxury is not a price point, it's a service. And I really believe that. And so to me, trying to treat my clients at the lower level with the same kind of service that I treat clients with a higher level is important to me.
Yeah.
I haven't done multi-million-dollar homes. Do I have the desire to necessarily do that? No, I love to go look at them and stuff, but that's not a goal of mine. My goal is not to be the top realtor in the state. My goal is to give the top service.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's something specific. I typically am almost 100% repeat referral. And so I think just having the consistency where you're never concerned about it would be nice to just have that consistency. But I don't know that you get that in this field completely.
Yeah.
You have seasons and I'm never going to be that hard pressure sales. That's, hey, Sandy, who do you know?
Yeah.
That needs to buy, sell, or invest. That's just not my personality.
Well, and I think that's when you and I first met. It was, you were a phone call of mine. Hey, you want to meet with me for coffee? And then we just kind of hit it off. And just kept meeting. Yeah. And we just need to get back to doing that again.
Yeah. No, that's one of the best things, going out and seeing people and just continuing to keep a relationship with people that you want to have a relationship with.
Well, I would love to talk to you more about all the things that you've been through as far as, your different career paths. But of course, we have to go already.
I know. Gosh, you don't want 17 hours of
yes,
conversation with Anna?
Yeah, I think it would be great. But I do appreciate you coming today and talking with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if there's anything that you really want to share as far as, any kind of pivotal moments, of how to push forward. If you had to talk with, let's just say somebody that's a teenager, that's just kind of going through some stuff right now. I mean, I know I've been through that with my kids, and you probably went through it with your daughters because girls are so emotional.
I think it's not getting so uptight about what other people think. Find somebody, whether it's an adult, whether it's a friend, somebody that you can have true communication with. Yeah. And that truly is wanting the best for you. Part of that, in that age, people are so insecure, but you find one or two people and then also be true to yourself. Yeah. Think about what you like to do, what gives you, or, for that person, what brings life to you, and focus on that.
And don't think that you need 10 friends, in a group. One is, you're lucky if you have one that knows you 100%.
I think about some of the things that I was so concerned about and choices I made because I wanted to fit in that, like, why? Yeah. Right. 10 years from now, it's not going to matter. And you'll be like, oh. Yeah.
And look how I've changed. Yeah. Or knowing that, yes, I made it through that rough spot. And
probably the other thing is to try to be healthy, not just food-wise or exercise-wise, but also emotionally. And I think all of that, I have a pretty interesting history with that whole stuff as well. Yeah. So, do what you need to do to take care of yourself, your
Mhm.
inside your body, your emotions, your
Yeah.
physical self, the whole bit.
Well, maybe next time when
There
you
you
come to
go.
Coffee with Sandy, we can talk about some of those things that
All right.
are, especially the list that you just came up with. It's like, that's amazing. I know people too that do the gratitude at the end of the evening, before they go to bed, so that they look at, the positive things that happen during the day, that they go to bed in a positive.
Well, I know one of the books that I had been reading had said have a gratitude stone at your bed, at your table, or your bedside table. And before you go to sleep at night, think about that, because that's what's going to stay with you through the night. Now,
Yeah.
I don't always do that,
Yeah.
but I do think that's a great, because then your subconscious holds on to that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Anna.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me. I always
You're
enjoy
welcome.
spending time with you.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Of course, I am Sandy Shook. I am your mortgage advisor. I am here to actually help you walk through that process of what it is that you need to purchase a home, and whether it makes sense, if you do have a home, to refinance, or maybe even getting into an investment property. Give me a call and let's check it out. And Anna, if you can let people know how to reach you, that would be great.
Oh, sure. Anna Fish, Anna Fish CO Homes, 719-650-9300. If you ever have questions about real estate, whether it's to purchase or sell, or if you just need connections on contractors, or you want a real estate review, give me a holler. I'd love to be of service.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
See you next time.